coming to custody and trustee in a bit. But I then want to understand, why is it then called a special
fund?
You use the name special.
Yes.
What is special about it? Explain to somebody.
Okay. What has happened is, before we had the traditional collective investment schemes or funds in place under CMA, Capital Markets Authority. Most of them basically are the money market fund, the fixed income fund, the equity funds, and the balance funds. The balance funds is a bit of either two of the ones I've mentioned or three of them in different ratios. So you can have, let's say, 40% fixed income, 60% equities or money market. So either can work.
Okay.
That is what we've had for the longest. But by last year, CMA came with an amendment of the Act, including two other classes of collective investment schemes. That is the special funds and the alternative investment space. The special fund has been basically created to accommodate funds that will go to what we'll call the global markets and even leveraged products.
Okay.
Some of them being what is commonly known as online forex, which in our space we call it CFDs, contracts for difference, and even derivatives. Derivatives can be either local or international. Yes.
Okay. So the special fund allows you to have different ratios in which you can invest in within this given asset classes that you'd like to invest in. Am I right on that?
Yes, you're right. It actually gives you a diversified portfolio whereby you can invest in both local asset classes and global asset classes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this, however, something that you then have to present to CMA and for them to then regulate on the basis of what you present?
Yes. Actually, at the time of application, you have to present, among very many other things, you have to present the portfolio distribution and your target and the limits on which you will distribute your funds into various asset classes. This is passed by CMA. You have to share it with the trustees and even with the custodians, just for monitoring purposes. But internally, we also have what we call an investment committee, which guides and approves on any investment and ensuring that it is within the specified parameters of diversification and asset allocation.
Wow. Okay. This is getting very interesting. So I'm beginning to understand the journey that you've taken. So first and foremost, you have internally with your team figured out, how do we make the best returns? It's by investing in this, at the same time keeping safe that you're not losing out. And so then you present that to CMA.
Yes.
Your mix, your secret sauce. This is your juice.
Yes.
So I take it there's therefore no two special funds that are the same, because this is internally done. Would I be correct in saying that?
I would say yes and no. We expect every special fund to have a different mix, that is one. But however, for whatever reason, even if the ratios presented to capital markets were exactly identical, if you drill down to each asset class, let me give an example. Maybe government securities. Government securities, maybe you have an allocation of 30% of your whole portfolio. You may find that
T-bills and things like that.
Yeah, that is T-bills and treasury bonds.
Okay.
You may find that as much as maybe you have that as the allocation, and even maybe you are holding 30%, one fund may be holding an FXD paper, that's a treasury bond, while the other one might have invested in a treasury bill for 6 months.
Okay.
So the underlying papers may be different as much as maybe the ratios are the same. So even the return, the frequency of the coupons, and maturities will be different.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. I've understood that. So I've understood the point up until when CMA has approved the Oak Special Fund. I have got until there. But I had you mention something very interesting. You talked about then custodian, and I had you talk about a trustee.
Yes.
So explain that again. What does that mean? Explain that to somebody who's watching.
Okay. As much as we have sent all our applications to Capital Markets Authority, that is CMA, and they have approved. They require us to have one, a watchdog, an external watchdog, I'll call them that. An independent external watchdog who is the trustee. And the trustee for our fund as at now is Cooperative Bank, which is a renowned commercial bank and a reputable commercial bank in that sense. That trustee, their work is to ensure that whatever is reported, both to CMA and to the public, and the fund integrity is solid from their own perspective, not from internally. Whether we have internal auditors, we have external auditors, their work is to ensure there is that integrity in the fund. On the other side, we have what we call custody. Custody, the difference between a fund that you may choose to run within the fund manager's space, let's say FAIDA. If FAIDA run the fund as FAIDA itself, in all ways, we are the ones who have the funds. So we can choose to divert it to any other place. And if it's outside what we call the investment policy that we have, no one is there to tell us do not withdraw and send money. However, we have what we call as custody. Custody become the owners or the people who are the guardians of the funds that are deposited. So for any investment, any deployment of funds, it goes through them. FAIDA, being the fund manager, will send instructions to the custodians and tell them, I want to buy a certain treasury bond. I want to buy a certain, let's say, stock in NSE. Once you close the deal, they'll send the money. Then they hold, either electronically or physically, the assets, the underlying asset.
Wow.
So at no point, for whatever reason, even if FAIDA was to close down, the assets are not within FAIDA.
Yes.
They are held by an independent party. And FAIDA's work is actually more of a manager of those funds. So it protects the client's money in one space. The other space is the trustee who oversees first the assets, secondly the reporting. There is an internal audit and external audit who are also able to monitor operations. And lastly, there is the regulator, Capital Markets Authority. So there are so many checks and balances to ensure that whatever I have is solid, both internally and externally.
Wow. Okay. I'm feeling safe now. As a potential investor,
Yes.
I'm feeling safe because now I've understood. I have, for the first time or for, actually, yeah, this license, this special fund license, CIS, is this, how soon, what am I trying? Okay, let me ask that question again. This special license that CMA has given, when did it come into the market? Has it been there for 10 years? Has it been there for 2 years?